Welcome to the Fixed Ops Friday show, where we bring you high-quality guests speaking about how to take your fixed ops department to the next level. This Car Guy Coffee production is brought to you by Fixed Ops Digital, powered by Trade Pending.
Let's brew! What's going on, car guys and car gals? It's Lou Ramirez, the car guy.
And it's Fred Lenart's subprime hero.
And we are brewing solutions on the Car Guy Coffee podcast for another fabulous Fixed Ops Friday with the one, the only, Owen Mood. What's going on, brother?
What's up, gentlemen? How you doing today?
Super excited to be here. I got some great news, folks. We are streaming right now on Instagram. It's the first time we've done that. They just released an opportunity for us to do it. So we are live on Instagram right now. So if you're watching this on the gram, welcome to the show. We're excited. We have a great show for you today. We're pumped up. We have somebody that is not just a great car guy in this industry, but just a great guy.
He's just a great guy.
Just a great guy. Like whenever you meet him, you could just sense that he just got nothing but good spirits and good wants for everyone around him. And so excited to have him on the show to talk about this year, talk about 2024, and to talk about fixed ops, man. And that's a big deal. What's going on? So, Lou, what's up, bro?
I think that we need to get other people involved.
That's right.
Owen, I believe you agree that we got to get some car guys and car gals out up inside of this. So tag a car guy and tag a car gal and share. We got a great Fixed Ops Friday ready for you, and we need to get some more people inside of this brew. But Owen, you get the chance to choose the incredible individuals that we have on this show, and it's always awesome who it is that you pick. Sometimes we're very familiar. This time we definitely are. Sometimes we're not so much. But why this time on Fixed Ops Friday are we bringing in John Ellis? What is it that John is bringing that we definitely need to brew about on a Fixed Ops Friday?
I've gotten to know John a little bit this year through some clubhouse rooms and things like that. And what I really like about John is his economic updates, right? Every time we get started in a room, John gives everybody, sets the table, right? Of like what's going on, what we're going to talk about, how it affects what's going on in the market. And I thought being this is the last show of 2023, what better guy to bring on than John to tell us a little bit about what's going on with the industry, what's going on with different parts of it, from used cars, new cars, fix ops. Obviously, this is more of a fix ops focused show, but it does affect also used car and vehicle trade-ins and things like that. So I reached out to John and said, hey man, as the last show of the year, everyone's going to get focused in on the holidays and closing the month strong here. Let's talk a little bit about what he's seeing from a data standpoint, and then what he's looking at that data and kind of what does 24 look like, at least through the first 6 months of 2024, right? It can be an ever-changing environment right now, but I think John's going to bring a lot of really cool insight to that, and just also to let John talk a little bit about what he's doing. I know it's a relatively newer company that he's founded, and we were talking a little bit about it prior to the call. Super excited to hear his story, and anybody that doesn't know John can obviously learn a little more about him today. So let's get him on here.
Let's do it.
Let's go ahead and get this rocking and rolling. So everybody, help us to make welcome. If you don't know him, you're going to get to know him a little bit more. But we are excited to be having fun on this Fixed Ops Friday with the one,
the only,
John Ellis.
Let's go.
To the show. Hey.
Oh, he's on mute too. That's all right. Get him off mute.
Okay.
It's all good.
There we go.
Oh, welcome.
I love the intro. I love the music. I was dancing, waiting for you guys to bring me on. Glad to be here.
Hey, John.
We're super excited. We got a Facebook user that says John Ellis is like a celebrity news show host. I love that, dude. That's awesome.
Thank you, buddy.
We also got
could be worse.
I'm excited about Instagram. That's pretty cool, guys, that you guys are on Instagram now. Well done.
Yeah, it's
awesome.
Pretty cool, man.
It's
Excited
cool
about
that they're
that.
doing that. That's awesome.
It's a unique thing. Like it's always been able to stream on Instagram, but you weren't able to do it from StreamYard and stream to multiple sources while doing it to Instagram. So it's beautiful that we can all do that. So you're going to start probably seeing not just our show, but so many other great shows out there that are going to start streaming there, which is going to be big. And because Instagram is a pretty hot spot for a different generation of people. Even I'm all over it, right? I love Instagram, and I think that you all could agree that it's a great source to be able to share some great news like we are today. So excited to have you here, man.
Thanks, buddy. Glad to be here.
Great stuff brewing, great stuff cooking right now. John, tell us where it is that you're tuning in from. And for those that don't really know who it is that you are and what you're doing, go ahead and give them the quick download.
Oh, yeah. Thanks. I'd be glad to. So I live in a small town called Laurel, Mississippi. If you guys watch HGTV or any Yeah, we've got a huge national show here called Hometown.
Mm-hmm.
And so it makes us popular. But this is an old pulpwood country. There's a lot of money here, big industry here, believe it or not, as small as we are. We have the world's largest transformer manufacturer, the world's, not the nation's, in Laurel, Mississippi. So it's a great resource town for good talent, tech talent as well, which really leads me into what I'm doing today. I was with Cox Automotive for 17 years. I worked for Gulf States Toyota and ran their fixed ops division in the central U.S. for a time as well. And just last September, I'll say last, we're not there yet, but this September, I left Cox to go out on my own because the groundswell for the need of what we'll talk about today in fixed ops and just in general, how to forecast the market was growing and growing, and dealers were reaching out. And to be fair to a company I love and treated me well for so many years, I thought it was time for me to move on and do this full time. So I'm excited to be with you today to talk about the Automotive Advisor team. On my shirt, you can see it, a groundswell of great advisors. And I have a small consulting company underneath that umbrella as well. So let's get started.
Heck yeah.
We're excited that you're out here, brother. And thank you for being one that is consistently brewing solutions for the industry, whether with a big company everybody knows or venturing off on your own. You are an expert in this industry that has helped bring so many solutions so many times just because you're filled with wisdom. And we're excited that you're on here, and we are honored that we have this opportunity. Car guys, car gals, please make them welcome. If there's questions that you have during the show, please don't hesitate to drop them into the comments, and drop them in even if you're watching this on the replay. We will make sure that we get to them or get them forwarded so that you can have them answer. We want to make sure that you are feeling part of this brew as well. But now that we're all doing what it is that we do, we're going to go ahead and let Owen start putting you inside of the hot seat. And
love it. Let's go. It's brewing. I can feel it, Owen. Let's go.
Should I put you on the hot seat, John? Do you want to give us an economic update?
I'd love to.
Let's do it. Give us the economic update. That's how we're going to start this thing.
Why not start it here as well? Look, I'm fortunate that I do it on David Long's All Things Fixed Ops. I definitely put a fixed ops flair on that. That's our audience. We do it for the used car call on every Friday as well. It's just critical. We grew up in this business for so long, and we went through the 08, 09 issues with cash for clunkers and our recession there. It's different this time. And so many more KPIs come into play besides automotive that impact automotive. I hadn't used the acumen. I graduated in economics in 93 from LSU after the Marine Corps. And I went and got my advanced degree in international finance, which is an economics division of spinoff. And I didn't use it much, kept reading, kept studying. But boy, these last few years, actually 6 years, taught me how important that can be in helping automotive dealers think about their operations, not the macroeconomic landscape, but what we're going to talk about today. What's happening now? What economic conditions are ahead of us that can help us plan for the next quarter and 2 quarters, which you said, Owen, perfectly, because we don't want to get over our skis. No one can predict the future. We don't have crystal balls, but there are great indicators that help operators go, you know what? I look at cost to market. I look at bottom and top line P&L, but I don't think about that too much. I'm glad to hear it every week. John at least says something that makes me think. So let's just start with what we think is going to happen at the end of this year and first of next year. We've already seen that the unemployment rate's ticking up a little bit, and that's good. That is good news, believe it or not, because that leaves the Fed at bay. We want them out of our business. The second thing is the wage market, right, has been very tight, meaning there's more jobs than people looking for jobs. It's softening a little bit, and that's good news, right? It makes the Fed pump up and feel proud. And when they're proud, they go hide in a corner somewhere, and then we get to do what we do best. So what they're forecasting is we're going to see a mild recession in the first half of next year that'll pump us up to about a 4.1, 4.2 unemployment rate, and they're going to open up the floodgates. And when I say that, I don't mean big moves, but moves that make people move. Quarter percentage point moves, probably starting in May or June, all the way through the end of the year. The Fed speculated just this week, so it came out of their mouth, not IHS and not the other think houses, which are very relevant, but the horse's mouth will probably reduce rates by 1.5% next year. Now, if I'm a new car salesman, I'm a dealer, I'm going, at first glance, I'd be like, I can buy down the rate today. Ford, GM, Stellantis, rates are down in the dumps now with these incentives, but used car rates. We need to get our used car affordability back in line, and that's what's going to happen. So we're really excited about that. But guess what? If you're paying attention to what the Fed did for the first half of the year, they gave us a little Christmas present too. we've reduced increase the standard deduction, another I think it's 3,500, maybe 5,000, depending on, where they landed last week, but they've increased it. That's more money in the consumer's pocket. And they moved brackets down a little bit. So many filers are going to find themselves in a lower tier bracket when they go to file their income check. And that means they'll get a little more money back. Look, we're not going to have a great tax season. It'll be good. A great one was what we remember in the past. We'll come back to that, I promise. Right now, people have a lot of debt and savings rates are a little lower. So they're not just going to jump off a cliff because they got a few $100s extra. But it is going to give them enough to think, hey, it's time to trade in this 13-year-old car for a better new used car. And that's all we want. So we have a really good positive outlook for the tax season. We think we'll do well. But here's where a dealer wants to be cautious. And CarMax has proven it to us right now. They're buying and loading like a frenzy on the website. If you look, if you fight in the lanes, you see them, and they're getting crazy right now. Why are they doing that? As a single rooftop dealer or a large group dealer, I would think to myself, they're anticipating prices to rise during the tax season. So they want to get cheap inventory now and be able to hold that. They can afford to for longer and then blow that out during the tax season, which they think will be pretty robust for them. So how would we act on that? What we would do is make sure that we're just not understocked. We don't need to go jump and get overstocked like they do. We don't have that kind of budget, but just make sure we're steady. And that's what we do at the Automotive Advisor team. We align sales rate to inventory acquisition strategies and build a plan to where they stay on pace. It doesn't matter what the market does. They'll never get over leveraged or under leveraged and lose profit in substantial ways. And they won't gain profit in substantial ways. That's a lucky play. The pandemic did that. So we're real excited with how our clients are formulating their Q1 and Q2 strategy. And I hope that was enough information why they could make it too muddy.
Oh, no, that's awesome. So one thing I heard this morning, and you mentioned just a little bit here, you said 15,000 vehicles added to CarMax.
Yeah, so CarMax holds about 50,000 vehicles online at any given time. And part of the Automotive Advisor team consultant umbrella has a gentleman by the name of Frank Knox. If you know, off-lease only, 20 years with CarMax. This guy's a veteran in the industry. So he's on my team as a buyer from our clients, supplemental buyer when they need good inventory. And he's been reviewing their change in behavior, and they've added about 15,000 over the last 30 to 45 days to their online presence, right? And those are the things he watches, because what happens, if you notice, the inventory that's moving off the dealer shelves right now is sub 25,000. The big stuff is just moving slower. There's some profit there, but if you don't move it fast, you're going to hold it for age. And so the rate of inventory loads for CarMax was about 22 to 28% sub 20,000. Now it's above 30%. And if you look at drive time, it's above 55%. Now we know that model, so that makes a little bit of sense, but that's what's moving. So as a dealer, you have to remember, I may have done it always like this, but if the affordability is making the market move this way, I want to play in that game too. I don't want to stay right here and then not be able to enjoy those market share opportunities holding too long and then aging out of some of this other stuff. And that's what we're seeing. So we're helping dealers watch the market and then play both those games. And that's how you win. You're going to lose a little bit here and win big here. You're pretty much going to break even or win a little bit here. And when you play those games together, man, you could really win in the market. So we're having a lot of fun, but it's taking a lot of analysis to make sure we stay on track.
Gotta love the car business, man. Just constant evolution, constant change, but that's what people like you and your business are important. I think dealers really appreciate what you do, and I think that if anything, they could at least learn from what you're trying to teach. Even if they don't use the product, just learn, friends. These tips are great. When it comes to our inventory, it is an indicator. When you see big companies like that are buying vehicles in that price range, that's a big market share they know is getting ready to explode. It's the hottest one, man. And to be honest, I believe that market share has been a big part of automotive for a long time. That was the market share that I made crazy amount of money on for many years and helped a lot of people do the same thing. But those types of vehicles are harder and harder to find, and you're having more people competing. CarMaxes, the drive times, and all these things, but they're out there. So just get those vehicles, because those are what's helping you get customers into your doors, because they know that's what they can afford now. With, like you said, that 1.5 on an interest rate, I love that you talked about that. That 1.5 points drop for a pre-owned customer that's looking for a car, that is the difference between them being able to buy the car they want or settling for a car that they can afford. That's it. When they get
great way to put it.
They're so much happier. They have more freedom. They have more trust in you. And you know what? They're more excited about buying more vehicles from you and telling people about you.
John said it best. He said you want to just get them to upgrade a little bit, right? you can't upgrade a little bit when you can't afford that next layer. So what's the motivation to parallel buy where you're just buying the same car, but now at a higher interest rate, putting more debt on your books? Everybody wants to upgrade, right? Everybody wants to get the next thing. It's called human nature. You want to better yourself. So the rates are important, and that 1 to 2% or points are definitely the drivers and all that.
Yeah.
Fred, you said something so important. I don't want to skip it. You made a living off that price band, right? In a lot of independents. I live in Mississippi. I worked the streets with Auto Trader for years. I was in and out of dealers for so long at that level, helping them find the best inventory and price it right, and then find the audience for that inventory because the markets are so small here. And franchise did not. Well, now they're having to, right? And that's the play, right? Because most of our clients are really franchise dealers with 1 or 2 rooftops. We have a few that are a little bigger, but those are the ones that are saying, wow, I'm playing a game I've never played before.
Yeah.
How do I play that game? And that's what we're teaching them, right? How to play that game. So they're not giving it to the wholesalers. They're not going direct to wholesale with it. They're not trying to find that exit strategy that makes $500 or $1,000. They need the front and the back and everything that comes with that transaction, no matter the price point. And you'll see David Long said, he said, John, I'm selling cars for $8,000.
Yes.
Yeah. I said, you should be, and well done. So it's a great point you just
made.
But
who would ever thought that? Who would ever thought you'd have an $8,000 car on a new car franchise in California?
And to be able to offer that to a client is massive. Even people with perfect credit want less payment. So especially those. So we have to offer those types of incentives, those types of vehicles. And people are not scared to buy cars with miles on them anymore. Not with these interest rates and not with the car prices going up. They're actually excited to find one that runs, right? They're like, oh, cool, and I can afford it. Affordability over the last handful of years has become the big thing for the average.
Yes.
Right? Is it affordable? Cool. I'll worry about warranty later, right? That type of stuff. We need something that can drive and get me to and from that I could actually make the payment on. And so that's why these types of cars are hot. And they've always been hot, but more so now with rates as high as they are. And most of all that pricing on average cars is over 20,000. That's crazy. So it's like, what do we do? So you have to have those. You have to take those trade-ins and recondition them, have them ready for the lot, have a process for that so that you have those vehicles ready to go quicker than they used to, right? Yep. Sitting on the back lot waiting to get a wholesaler to buy it at like you said, make a $500 quick profit and turn it around. Or you could turn around and put a customer inside of it, build trust inside them, build their credit up. When interest rates drop, guess what they're going to do? They come back and see you and trade in that vehicle again. And it's going to probably be a good one, right? And then you can turn around and sell them something newer. But right now, we have to play the today game, not the tomorrow game. We have to plan for tomorrow, but play the today game. And that's the today game. I love it.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. DMS, all we're trying to do is build our DMS. And the other thing that we're working really hard with dealers, because especially our franchise dealers, is understanding that frontline ready cost for that vehicle is so much different than it is for a 35,000 plus vehicle. And we have to work together as a used car department and a service department to really understand, okay, there's give and take at every price band. And so just learn the price band give and takes, because look, we're getting into as is cars in a lot of cases, right? And so at what point do we say we can't pack everything, can't certify everything? I've got highline dealers, they still want to certify everything. And we just build, so we offer any dealer that sees us that wanted a free inventory analysis. It doesn't cost anything. We'll get into your VAuto or BenQ or whatever you're using, and we'll just show you know where you sit in the market, what your exit strategy to prepare for tax season and go light and get fresh is. And at the same time, a lot of that will show you, wait a minute, I bought this at the right cost to market, but by the time I got price to market, which is frontline ready, okay. Because what's happening is dealers are going into $40,000 space because the cost to market is like, it's easier. It's 87%, 84%. They're like, oh, I got to get all these. But the problem is no one's buying them. So they age out. The ones that have high cost to market have a reason for that, because the dealers are driving the price up in the lane because they want them. And so at the end of the day, there's fewer margin there. So you have to just play that game. Yeah, you can get a good $45,000 to $50,000 car in the lane for a decent price, but how long is it going to take you to sell it? You have to make sure you get that thing out of there quickly. Find the market for it. Most of our dealers that have been lazy are over-indexed from $30,000 up and under-indexed from $29,000 down. And that's all we're showing them. And I'm like, why'd you buy these? Well, John, look what I got them for. Yeah, but they've been here 90 days. So was it really a good what I got? So, and some yes, some no. It really all depends. And all we have to do is pay a little bit more attention. We call it strategic analysis that builds calculated courage, because you can play in that space with the right strategy. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Like you said, Fred, we're our heads are spinning, but we're having fun.
Excited. It sounds like you are. I see that
Sounds
smile
like
on your
fun.
face.
Yeah,
And what I really enjoy, John, is the information that you have just right at the top of the dome, man. That's pretty amazing. I could tell that you take what you do serious. And I hope that you dealers out there, everyone watching the show understands that's what a professional sounds like. When someone comes to you and they ask you a question, you should know the answers to it, especially if it's your lane. And I love that you're your lane really well right now, brother. Speaking of your lane, we're talking about reconditioning these vehicles. We're talking about all the stuff. That kind of brings us into the fixed ops world, right? Like, how does that get a fixed ops department too? It's all in one. Like a lot of times, we're like, we don't want to take care of these older cars, but you know what? There's money to be made in those hills. So I want to do. So what do you think about that? What does that do for the fixed ops department?
Yeah, so typically if you take the emotion out of it and you get down to math, that's when you win, right? And so really you have to be very strategic about how you bring those two departments together to show a winning strategy. Because typically what will happen is used car managers don't want losers and directors don't want losers. So if we already are in the same playing field, we both want winners. How can we make every car a winner? And it takes a partnership. So we did this years ago, started doing this years ago, was sitting the fixed ops director and the used car manager down virtually or in person. And we would say, all right, what's bay utilization look like? What's your efficiency rate look like? What's your labor hour? Let's just lay it on the table. And if you're having any struggles there, how about we take these cars that have been waiting for a while and grow your efficiency? Your labor rate's not going to grow. Right. And use that to fill the gaps to get you the percentage you're looking for. It won't be the same labor rates. It got that because you're going to give me a discount on these $5,000 cars. So you're going to make money, but everybody's going to be working. Everybody's going to be happy. And by the way, those customers will come back and buy the bigger cars, and then you'll have those, and then they'll come and service with you because these older cars need a lot of service. Yes, so they're going to need to know you, and they're going to service with you. So retention is going to be huge in this space. We've found that the average car age from JD Power is 12.5, 13.1 for passenger car, 11.7 for truck. The average miles 70,000. So everything's going to need what we're talking about today. It's like the norm, not the rule, that we're having aging inventory with a lot of mechanical needs. That's a win for both sides of the business. All we have to do is put it together and show the plan with math, and then everybody understands. We've had to do that quite a few times with some groups, and what has happened is not only has the owner, and I'm not suggesting anyone do this, reduce some expectations in the front end of themselves, but the fixed ops person said, wait a minute. If we get 20 more cars in here doing this, I'm actually going to make more departmental money than I make now. So once they see that, it is a win. And then guess what? They're holding weekly meetings and they're gauging their success instead of just maybe talking once a month.
Amen to that, John. You said that so on the freaking money. And their service and their techs, man, they get to get more practice in on cars that they don't really get to see all the time because they're older. And these newer cars are different, right? It's fun. It teaches them and it keeps them on their game. It shows them how to get through stuff faster. And like you said, it's a little extra money, but it does. It's a great tool for all kinds of stuff. That's a great place to put somebody who's new alongside somebody who's got a little veteran in them that can learn how to do it together.
Yeah.
There's so many layers to this, folks. And as an owner, it's huge money for you. There's great opportunity because it's all internal and everybody in the house is going to be doing something. Activity breeds activity, which breeds money. Just saying. So keep moving.
We hadn't even talked about parts.
No, that man. And there's so much.
Well, hey, one thing. Let me throw some things here. So I got asked by Fixed Ops Magazine to write an article and for 2024, and so it just came out, and I coined it the year of the teenager. And to John's point, the vehicle is 13 years old on the lot right now. So think about that. That's 2010. That's the average vehicle. So where can we win? If you look at everything in like small segments, where can we win? First off, John hit on it, late ownership services. Our company has been preaching about late ownership services since we opened our doors 5 years ago. If you are not putting late ownership services in front of consumers, they're going to move on to the places where they can find that information. So late ownership services is one thing that I really hit on in this article. The other two things I thought about was like profit centers, right? Like tires, accessories. These are like profit centers that we don't ever hit. And at dealerships, you walk in, they don't have a tire display inside their showroom or inside the dealership. And we definitely don't have it on the website. So these are things that just, if you could think a little bit outside the box and say, hey, where are some ways that we can pick up those extra revenue opportunities because we might have a little softer sales year. Let's get into it now. Those are some of the things that I talked about. And John just reinforced some of that with some of the data that he just threw out there. Want to throw that in?
Walk into a Firestone or a Goodyear and tell me if they don't have tire displays, right?
100%.
We don't get thought of that way, and we need to, because that is an entry point. Batteries, brakes, batteries, and tires, right? We want to be that provider too. Remember, I think it was 2 weeks ago, I gave the stat on all things fixed ops that everybody knows, but just hearing it makes a difference. 75% of that aftermarket business gets your business. It's only 25% dealer return, right? So we want to take that business back. And I think we have a future, we have a transformational opportunity with EVs, even though it'll be a long runway. I'm not a mandate guy, so we can go there if you want, but I'm a fiscal economist. I'm a conservative as they get. I don't believe in force feeding anything. The market demand is driven by consumer, not by the government. But in the end, what a way to bring brand loyalty back to the dealership when it comes to fixed ops, right? I want to see that as a way for us to get that business back. Yes. So we'll have a lot of fun talking about that in the future.
Absolutely. I love that. I love what we're talking about. And just want to throw a quick few shout outs. Pierre, thank you for jumping in. Yes, this is going to be on replay. You could always go back to any one of our profiles and it'll be there for you to watch anytime. I want to say hi to a bunch of people. We got Matt in here. Matt, man, he's been crushing it with these comments. Thank you so much for all these great comments.
What's up, Matt?
He's at the end, he said something here that we're just talking about. Service advisors have a massive opportunity to upsell tires, accessories, wiper blades, and those things add up. Yes. Biggest reason why we don't sell those things, we never ask, nor do we display. So as long as we're doing those two things, the opportunity is there. It's like a salesperson fails 90% of the time because they never ask for the sell. So that's why we got to do it. I love that. It's great stuff here. And we also got Bill, Jenny.
Bill Demery, my man.
Yeah, what's going on, Bill? How are you doing? Just talking really great stuff, saying really great comments in here, talking about the car business. It's fun. If it wasn't fun, it would be insanity. Amen. And I think that's
crazy. It is crazy.
It is crazy fun, right? I love it. It is insane, but it's the good kind of insane. So I love this stuff.
Yeah, it's fun. I spent 18 years in telecom before car business. I got blessed. I got lucky and tripped into this business. I wish I would have got in sooner. Bob Hollingshead's a good friend of mine. I talked to him about the good glory days before I was in and even before I was born. I just eat it up. I love, the people are the best.
Absolutely. Look at that. You got some dude. Owen, dude. Getting some
boy, Matt. Yes.
Yeah. Matt, coming from you, that's some pretty good words, brother. We appreciate you so much. Yeah. So yeah, this has been great. And I'm loving what we're talking about here. And John, thank you so much for giving us some time with you today to be able to talk about some really great stuff. I know where we've talked about what it looks like. I love your predictions. I love what you're talking about when it comes to money. It's big. I hope that people are taking notes on that. If there was one thing that you say that 2024 is going to be a surprise, what would that surprise be?
Yeah, first of all, I want to say one thing about what you said. If we don't ask, somebody just said that you can't get fed if you don't open your mouth. We need to train our service team like we train our sales team.
Yes.
We need to invest in the same way. We don't do that. It's repair line item per repair order is where you can see where your problems are. And so start there, actual versus appraised on the other side of the business. So you're not making the appraiser, the recon guy mad because you've just completely flubbed the appraisal and it's not anywhere matching. You got to come up and off the lift 4 or 5 times. All of that is areas of opportunity. But I love if you don't open your mouth, you won't get fed. And that's our problem in the lane sometimes is we won't sell. And I don't mean to be overbearing. I am never that way. Consult and sell services is your friend.
And advise, right? The relationship would be that you're an advisor pointing them towards what it takes to optimize the experience they have with this $50 machine that they bought to protect themselves and suit their transportation needs. Inside of that, I believe that the salesmanship is on dual sides of the coin too. Not just that it has to happen in sales and in service, but that it has to happen to those that are already in our bank, already our customers. We do on being quick to make the recommendations to our fresh up, our new person in the service drive and all that. But with Fixed Ops Digital, there's so many tools that we can use to keep in contact with the people that we have in our bank already. We already have them. They are already our customer. And those are the people that we're most twisted about when they defect, when they go a different direction. We're the most knotted up over them going in a different direction, but we never really took intentional walks or intentional efforts towards keeping them with us. So John, inside of that, in recognizing and being able to project and to look to the future, how would you recommend somebody look at their actual fixed ops campaigning towards customers that are in their banks already instead of trying
I love that.
to find new ones?
You know, fortunately, this is in my wheelhouse because with Gulf States Toyota, we specialize in service retention, right? They're the best at it. If you know Toyota, they are. And of course, service retention marketing is really where you start. And mining your own database first, making sure, first of all, that declined service customers are always touched. You said something that I want to make sure we're there to create an experience for the owners. And that experience also has a safety component to it. And if they're declining services, it's our responsibility to check mark that and go back and remind them that this could turn into a safety issue down the road. So you're not just trying to sell something, you're really trying to advise that our job is to take care of you and to make you feel comfortable, safe, and excited about car ownership. And so I think really paying attention to that. When I used to I started my business walking into the front, then I walked into the back, and now back in the front. And what I found when I started walking in the back of the house was the budget and the amount of money spent in the back of the house as compared to the front was minuscule. And on the things like marketing and advertising, sales training, and all those things.
Yep.
But we expect the back to absorb the front. And it just didn't make a lot of sense because we were always talking about absorption, but we weren't spending the dollars to do that. Now I think that's changed some, but we have a long way to go. What we forget is it costs 3 times as much money to get a new customer than it does for the repeat. So if we want to save money and you don't want to just dump money down there, then go after the most efficient resource and source of revenue that you have. And that's the people that already love you and know you, or maybe they don't love you, but know you. And we have to rebuild our brand.
Make them love you, right?
That is 100%. We have to get the confidence back in everybody we have. It's just no different than not following up with your customers after you sell them on the sell side, is that if you don't, eventually they forget about you. They'll go somewhere else. You have to stay top of mind all the time. And that does take some things like Fixed Ops Digital with online service marketing and all those types of things that we can do better.
Well,
but being fair as an owner, again, I'm going to point to you owners out there, is that are you spending enough with your back? Are you giving them the opportunities to be able to help absorb? But not only that, but they can produce enough to where the front of the house absorbs. So it's a two-way street if you do it the right way. And that's why it's important that we really focus on this. And I'm so glad companies like Fix Up Digital out there to help dealers get way more streamlined in it and way better and faster and cleaner and efficient. You know,
and Fred, I'll add to that. Obviously, since our being acquired by Trade Pending, and they just bought SnapCell 60 days ago, I've been knee deep in their service video tool, and it's amazing how many trainers are out there training but aren't training with the technology. With video creates trust, it creates authenticity. It's what people look at when they see it and they go, oh, he's not just telling me that I need this, he's actually showing it.
Here there's a leak, dripping, and that makes it more valid. That's something they don't normally pass up on. If they actually see it and they know that it's not somebody no different than car salespeople, a mechanic or service, tech, they also think that they make stuff up or they loosen something up so that they have to get it fixed. But when you could show, hey, this actually needs to be repaired, we recommend this today. Then they're going to be like, yeah, let's do that. They'll find a way to make it happen because it's real now. And I love what SnapCell is doing. SnapCell is a great company. They got acquired by this Trade Pending also, which is amazing. And it's great that you've teamed up with all them, and now you're able to see even a bigger scope of what's happening back there and the tools that are available. But SnapCell is great. And if you guys don't know who SnapCell is, go check them out. They really do. That's a really cool tool. I got to see a demo of their stuff, and I was like blown away by how a service rep can sit there and talk to people and show them right there. I hope you're having a good day. We're looking at your car. They can even show them how perfect it is. Hey, it looks great in here. You guys have done a great job at all this stuff. We recommend that in 3 months that you probably come back for some breaks. But besides that, you're kicking butt, right? That's a great message to send somebody too. Trust. That's the way it is. People like to communicate. I'd rather see that video than read a text message about it.
100%. Especially when you're trying to get customer pay dollars, right? Because this is where we run into problems. People come out of warranty. They've been maybe a prepaid maintenance. Nothing's been charged to them for 3 years. Let's say if you own a Toyota, and all of a sudden you come out of that, and now you're like, oh, now I got to try to spend money on service. Like they just don't want to spend money anyways. I don't want to spend money. I'm a consumer too. I'd screw that. But I'll spend it if you prove to me I need it. And then I don't want to overspend, and I want to make sure that I'm getting the right. I'll actually spend a little more money to make sure I'm getting better service. All those things
to get ahead of a problem later. If you just know that, you know what, I'm
preventative maintenance.
I'm right here, right now. But that's the difference between a company that has a relationship with their actual customers and somebody that's really just doing transactions with them. If they recognize that this is all of the tools that you have as the big dealership that you are, as the big service department that you are, all of these tools are for me, whatever the tools are. We're over here in DriveCentric's headquarters right now, right? Because they are an incredible tool in our industry that many people have and yet still do not maximize, do not utilize the video piece of that element in it. And that is the thing. If we utilize video to build trust and to reduce confusion, because folks, there's so much confusion. I'm a car guy. I've been a car guy for decades. I am confused when I listen to a mechanic tell me about what's wrong with stuff. And yes, I need to see it. I need to see it to understand, because my red, yellow, or green, or my cautions and all of the fun color coordinations that we have to tell a customer where we're at, it's too many people that are like, hey, I have to hurry up and get someplace, and I planned on spending this, and I don't know the need for that, and I don't really get it right now. Do I have to have that? No. Okay, great. They don't really see or feel the problem.
They don't.
Right
no,
there. They don't get it.
They don't. I just went and had an oil change done recently, and when I went in, they pulled out my air filter.
Your MPI.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. They pulled out my air filter, right, and then they showed me a brand new one next to it.
Oh yeah.
This is what yours looks
there
like.
You go.
New one looks. Do you want us to replace it today, or would you rather wait? And I was like, replace it.
You know where that was done? That was done door-to-door vacuum sales.
Yeah.
Poured out of people's carpet. They don't want that in there. Whatever.
You love your kids. You love
Yeah. Wow.
How can you drink that water?
I don't want to pass this up because I think it's important. A study just came out. I think it was from Cox, actually, John.
Yeah.
2022, we got 35 cents on every dollar service-wise against the independents. This year, a year later, we're down to 30 cents. So we knocked the doors down. There's more trainers than ever out right now for fixed operations. It used to just be the sleeping giant in the back. No one really cared about it. We just went on their business. We've knocked down the doors because of economic factors, right? Inventory, COVID, all these things. And yet we're losing market share. That's a problem. Why do you think that is? And then give me maybe one or two things from your opinion of what we need to do to reverse that trend going into 24, because it's amazing to me that with all the focus we put on it, we actually lost market share. And that's scary, actually.
Yeah, I think it's because the entire P&L got pandemic drunk. And when you get pandemic drunk like that, you don't departmentalize and find out where your efficiencies are and need help. And so now that we are all seeing an erosion of margin, spotlights on everything. So we're doing studies, and Cox showed, I saw that study 2 weeks ago, last week. And I thought the same thing. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. RO count's up. Dollars per RO are down, and then typically they'll meander like that. But year over year, they're up a lot, but we're making less money. And then I dig deeper, and it's line items per RO. We've lost our craft, and we need to get our craft back. We've gotten a little lazy. We got lazy on the front of the house. I'm not picking on fixed ops. It's overall. But what a used car director said to me yesterday, and it was so profound because it was stupid simple. He said, John, we've decided we have got to go back to the basics. Period, in everything that we do. And that means we have to remember all the things that we forgot during the pandemic. A lot of the folks that I see running areas of our business, these department heads, a lot of them were promoted during the pandemic. So we just have to help them. We just have to help them to remember a time when they weren't leading. And these are the KPIs and metrics that you need to pay attention to, because to your point, the customers that are leaving and taking that dollars per down are the ones that are sitting in your DMS. Yeah. They're there ready. So what we have to tell, two things you said that we need to confront upfront with our customer. We're not more expensive, right? The big one, right? And then of course we're not going to try to sell you or upsell you or do this. We want to take care of you and your car. And I love what Fred said. And if you're not ready for this today, we'll be upfront and honest that we're here when you're ready tomorrow. You're building that stream of a reciprocal service, right? Right now they're gone. As soon as that warranty and recall period is over, they're thinking of a cheaper place to go to save money for groceries and whatever else, right? But they'll spend $10 on a Starbucks.
Yeah.
Exactly. They'll spend the money with you, but you have to give a compelling reason why. And a lot of that has to do with confronting the objections that are myths. We're more expensive, and we're going to make you spend more if you come see us than they will at Firestone. And we know that's not true.
And remember, Firestone and all the other third parties, they are not letting up on their marketing. That is their whole shebang.
I get something every week in the mail.
Yeah, it's so hard to get past it, and even to build the curiosity, the customer has to be like, man, maybe you should go over here, one time. I don't know. But they're being berated. Why? Because that is the source of income for those third parties. And because it's not been as prioritized as seeing it as sales, even if the sales department was included in the party of maintaining that customer, if there was a magical way for us to do that in the future where you stay connected to them, your service advisor is helping you win, you're helping the service advisor win, what a magical world that would be. Maybe sometime in the future. I don't know. A new walk is coming out. So it might get.
We need to prioritize our service walks. We have to take every transaction on the variable side of the house, walk them back to it, and meet everybody that would be key to their success. I don't care if the car is $8,000.
Yeah,
we need to do our service
survey because that's even on the pre-owned
it's
side.
almost more important on the $8,000 car.
It's more important.
There's a reason why they have that car and they want to keep it for a lot longer, right? Because they're like, hey, I'd rather spend an extra $1,000 to keep this forever instead of go buy a car and make $500 a month, $1,000 a month, right? So to them, they're willing to invest a little bit, and those cars do matter more now than ever. So
that $8,000 car to them is gold. It gets them to work. It gets their kids to school.
It was so hard. Let me tell you, too. Just telling you, so enjoy that and cherish that and let them feel like it's a diamond, right? And let them know you think it's a diamond. Like, hey, I want to help you. I want to make this vehicle as perfect as possible. I want it to be safe and reliable for as long as you own it. When they feel that and they know it's not just a sales pitch, then it's way better. You said something earlier about, and it's not untrue, and I love it. It's the fact that we changed habits while we got pandemic drunk. Front house, back house, in automotive, in the world, things change. Go to a fast food restaurant, see the difference. So that happened. But do I think necessarily that it's because we're being more lazy? Maybe, but I think it's more so that our habits changed so much that it's hard for people to go back to old habits, right? And just like anything else, if you're a smoker, if you don't like to work out, if you do anything else, the moment you stop, it's hard to get back to doing something, or the moment that you start, it's hard to quit.
Oh, so true.
So it's the same thing here. It's just that, and I love what you said, that they're like, let's get back to the basics, fundamentals, foundation. So folks, that's a great word of advice, is if you are struggling in any department, relook at your process and get it back to the fundamentals. Work on the little stuff, customer, rapport building, loving, trust, being open, educating, training daily, working, having fun while you're at work, not getting insane. And that's the thing. I think that we need to, as a whole in this industry, is that we need to get back to fundamentals. That, granted, fundamentals may be a little different because there's new tools, there's new things. It's still fundamentals. It's basic stuff. It's not order taking. It's not just selling them and telling them this is just the only place you can get this part, or this is the only place. That doesn't work today anymore. That's done. That is over with. It's time to get back to what we know best. And that's when somebody says no, we start putting our salesman shoes on and we start showing them why their no is really not a no. It's actually, you just don't have enough information yet. So let me give you more information so you can see why it should be a yes. That's the key.
I love that. Yeah. You're so true about the habit thing as well, because a lot of our even older operators, it's okay. Think about dieting. If you have dieted and you've been really fit in the Christmas season, you let it go for about 2 or 3 months. How hard is it to go back? It's extremely hard, but you know how to do it, but it's hard to get back. And so everything you said starts with leadership. Put a plan together. Train, coach, develop. We talked about it on David's call this morning. It's training, and then there's in the moment coaching, and then after the moment coaching. And if you keep reinforcing the fundamentals with your people, then everything will start changing. But if you expect them to do it by themselves and it doesn't start with leadership, it's
you can't just tell them. You have to be accountable.
And if we expect those that are following to be any different than the leaders, which if the leaders are always so reactionary, we as an industry, and we get it honestly, we are a reactionary industry. We pivot because we got to pivot. We pivot because of pressure, not because we want to see how to reconquer this mountain or see if there's a better way to do it. And that is the issue with being able to advance forward, because we have that conversation of let's go back to. That's so often where we end up running the conversation, is we want to point back to a time where it was what we should have been doing. Whereas when we came into this party as solutionaries trying to retrain and recreate the experience in the industry, it was pre-COVID. It was before everybody got drunk on profits or scared they were never going to sell anything again. Before all of that, there had to be a change to the language. Otherwise, we were just getting more of the same, of us trying to beat the customer at buying or kill our competition who's trying to do the same thing we're trying to do, which is feed our families and service our customers. We don't want to take anything off of anybody's plate. As a matter of fact, we want to be good stewards of what's on our plate, which is all the technology in the world there is to service our customer. Yet, when we lost view of focus on that, it then became, let's take care of these transactions, make all the money that we can because, hey, that's what we're here to do today anyway. And then go back to saying, now we got to go back into learning how to sell them or close them or lead them, where, you know what, in the beginning, what we needed to shift to is saying, hey, the best thing we can do is really build these relationships that keep them with us. If we take care of our customer would take care of us. If we take care of our community will take care of us. And whoever shows up in our community to take our market share, right, they're going to have to compete with the relationship that's entwined with these clients, with these customers. Not, did I remind them or do I have the best coupon of the week? No, Owen's my guy, and I only see Owen because he always takes care of me and I can trust him and the dealership behind him. That's the relationship fundamentals that we should have been at before we talked about how to sell anybody. That's
100%. And it doesn't matter how great your software is, how great the tools that you have are, if you can't do the basics, because those are just tools unless people are using it. So people have to use it, and they have to be using it correctly. So if you teach your people fundamentals, get them back to I don't even want to say basics, but just teach them the fundamentals and not make them, but have them and show them the way. Show them that this is how we build relationships. Encourage them to talk to many people. Encourage them to make mistakes. Encourage them to try. It's the key is that we have to have them do things. They can't keep doing what they're doing now and expect to get better. It's never going to happen. So don't give them tools if they're not ready to use them. Once they're ready, hand them a tool. Now they're hitting targets bullseye every time. Bing, bing, bing. But until they learn how to use that M16, it doesn't matter.
Oh, I love that. Thank you for that.
So John, real quick,
brought me home.
We're going into 2024. You obviously have started a kind of a new thing here in the last 90 days, pretty much. People listening right now, give me one or two things that you know that if a dealer reached out to you, you could help them with right away, and obviously then focus into other areas of your business. But what are the two things that you're helping the dealerships the most with right now?
Yeah, thank you for giving me a minute to say that. So the number one thing that we're doing right now is helping dealers match their inventory acquisition strategy. We're not buying cars for them. We're not taking over V-Auto. We're not taking over Van. We go in there and we have a tool that builds their strategy for sales rate. It adds in market conditions, which is something that's new, no one else is doing, and then monitors how they are matching that sales rate and their sales goal every month to always have the optimum amount of inventory that matches their goal. And so they're never over leveraged. They're never under leveraged, which means they're missing out on sales. Over leveraged means they're aging and losing out. But the day that month closes, and we know how critical that day is, the next day they're already set up with the right leveraged inventory to go right into next month and start off as strong as they were. And we found this from years of study that dealers will have great couple of months and bad couple of months. And it's because of inventory management. Not that they're not buying the right stuff or they don't know in their gut how much they need for sales rate, but this is a structured plan. And the only reason we put it together was because over the years, I saw the stress that the used car managers would feel because they had great months and a bad month or two good months, and then the inventory started aging. And I want them to sleep good at night. I want to say, if you stay on this plan, you can go to bed, wake up, train, coach, develop, close, direct and consumer, all the things that you do well, knowing that all this is in line, and you can watch it every day. So that's our little inventory acquisition tool that we love, and it's very inexpensive, and it comes with a little coaching and economic update every couple of weeks in our calls. But the other thing we're pretty excited about, and we just signed up Carter Myers Automotive Group, we're in talks with a few other groups, is EV retail transformation, right? We're helping dealers determine what's the best first couple of steps to get my dealerships ready if an EV conversation happens in store. So we leave Recurrent up to the battery score. We leave Rocket and Plugstar and others up to the content. We are operational folks that take all of that information and help salespeople and leaders feel very confident that they can have a conversation with somebody who comes in and says, is an EV right for me? You got 3 out front, but I just don't know. What is it? And then they can go into whether they sell an ICE engine or another, or that EV. They bring a brand loyal customer, somebody happy that wants to do business with them for a long term because they didn't shove anything down their purchase path that wasn't a good fit for their lifestyle. We're loving that side of the business. Duran Cage is running that for us. It's all good stuff. But those are the 2 things we can help you with: inventory strategy. And I tell you, 2024 is going to be big. You asked me a question. I don't want to skip it. What might surprise us next year? I gave you the forecast, right? But we want to be careful. S&P showed us that in 25 and 26 and in 27 at Flatlines, we're still going to have a declining retailable inventory supply. Period. So we didn't build cars in 2020 and 2021. I'm sorry. If you looked at your Experian report last week, what they call that rollover inventory is about to hit us. Mm-hmm. So what is that going to do to used car values? They are not going to drop. So we could see a huge acceleration in used car values in the middle of next year, coming off the tax season, and which is good for aged inventory, but it means you have to be strategic in the market. And so my point is, we don't know if that's going to happen, but it very well could. The way it accelerates could look something like we haven't seen in 2 years. So that might be the surprise we need to pay attention to. And we'll do that. We look at it every week.
I can see that in a good and a bad thing, but I love that insight, and I love how you came up with that. So it makes all the sense in the world, and I agree. Actually, I was something in my mind's thinking the same thing. So I'm excited about 2024. I think there's a lot of great opportunity.
It could be a great year.
I think that there's always a yin to everything, a yin to every yang. So as long as you guys understand that with something going down means something up is coming. So make sure that you guys are ready for that and be prepared for that, and use data. And if you don't know how to do it, reach out to John. John will get you all set up. He knows how to do all that. This guy, he's been dropping so much data on us, and I'm just like blown away. I'm like, this is awesome stuff. And I'm so glad I can say that John's my friend. I got that guy. I know somebody that knows the answer to that. Let me get you there, right? So, John, we thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Certainly.
Man, thank you so
much.
Blessed
to be here, brother.
Oh, and you got anything you want to say before we get out of here?
No, man. Enjoy the holidays, John, and look forward to catching up in 24.
Great. Thank you, guys. I enjoyed today.
We appreciate it, and we appreciate all of you that have been participating with us today. The comment box has been filled, and we appreciate all of you that have been joining us. If you are watching this on the replay, again, please still just drop those comments in there. Ask John any questions that you have, and just let us know that you had a fun Friday enjoying a Fixed Ops Friday brew with this crew. We are so thankful to be hanging out with you all. This is the last Fixed Ops Friday of 2023, and we are so thankful that we get the chance to hang out with each and every one of you. We do wish you all a happy holidays, a very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and get ready because 2024 is going to have some fun challenges, and we can't wait to cover all of the solutions that we get to brew with other incredible people like those that were on the show today. We honor you all. We appreciate you all. Car guys and car gals, I am Lou Ramirez, the car guy.
And I'm Frelin Arts, subprime hero.
And we've been brewing solutions on Fixed Ops Friday with your other host, the one, the only,
Owen Moon.
And today, your special guest has been the one,
the only, John
Ellis.
And we're going to
thank you.
and head out of here, everybody.
You did great.
So on 3, 1, hands on the
I got to do it with you.
Copy us, John. Copy us, buddy.
I got you, buddy.
Focus, fly, and keep growing, keep growing.
We will see you all soon. Keep brewing solutions, everybody. Talk to you soon.
Peace.
We're out.
Bye.
John Paul Guidry.
See y'all.